Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR today for Friday morning, the end of September. We're finally in fall. It's the man they call Meathead, and it's Matthew Thomas. Good morning, Matthew.
We are finally in fall. Good morning, Meathead. This fine Friday morning.
The last Friday of September.
Towards the end of September. We're almost in October. Almost time to carve your jack-o'-lantern.
You carve your jackal. You ever listen to the band Jackal? One of my favorite one-hit album bands.
No, but I've listened to the band.
No, let's go to Jackal. They had the Lumberjack where they played a live chainsaw in the studio, and that's how they wham, 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 wham. Have you never heard that?
I haven't, but I did see a Lumberjack match this past Wednesday on Dynamite.
Taz said it was a Lumberjill match.
Oh, yeah. Lumberjack, Lumberjill.
Fair enough. All right. Hey, no matter if you're a lumberjack or a lumberjill, what should you be wearing?
You know, it doesn't matter if you're chopping down trees in a wood, and if that tree falls and nobody's there to hear it, does it really fall? I don't know, but I'll tell you something I do know is you can get the best clothing around at collarandelbowbrand.com. Peruse your browser on over to collarandelbowbrand.com. Enter promo code Linda KLINDAKAY. Save yourself 10% on their new fall gear.
Nice. And you know what? Speaking of Uncle Al, coming up, a very special presentation Saturday, October 22nd at 7 o'clock Central in the city of Grafton, Wisconsin, just a little bit north of Milwaukee. Al and the Comedy Show. It is an evening of Al Snow comedy with pro wrestling legend Al Snow. Can you believe that? Also opening for Al will be David Vox Mullen as well.
Fantastic. And I'm actually now planning on getting into the area that Saturday night. So I'm going to be coming from the Mountain Time Zone. My sister's going to be coming from the Eastern Time Zone to the Central Time Zone.
And when's your mom coming in? Where's the lasagna?
Yeah, we're still working on that. Just try to perfect that recipe. You can't just Betty Crocker that, man. You got to really put your own unique style to the lasagna, and we'll see. She's working on some new stuff.
Fair enough. Hey, because the 21st is the best show there is, and the best show there was, and the best show there ever will be, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Well, Uncle Al performing in Grafton on Saturday night, the 22nd, 7 o'clock. Tickets on sale now at blizzardbrawl.com. $20 at the door. VIP seats. I don't know what VIP is getting you, but it's VIP is $30. I would assume it's a picture with Al and Head. And Al's got a comic book out there too, The Adventures of Al Snow and Head. Have you seen it?
Yeah, he does. And I'll tell you, man, what I would really hope that would include would be some Knight's popcorn.
Ooh, the popcorn night. David Hero should be in attendance as well. I believe our other co-host, Linda Kay, will be in the house. I cannot confirm nor deny if the man they call Meathead will be in Grafton on that evening.
Well, you don't necessarily want to always disclose your whereabouts.
No, the Big Brother's already tracking me enough as it is.
Makes sense.
All right. Other things that make sense but don't make sense. Matthew, let's break down a little bit again because we got Smackdown coming up tonight, and let's break down some of these clues that have been given to us in the White Rabbit promotional marketing campaign that we've got here. Matthew, did we talk about the fact that 40602 is Corbin, Kentucky?
Baron Corbin is the White Rabbit.
Could he be? But you know what? When you type those numbers into Google and search for zip code, do you know what else comes up?
You type, I don't know, what comes up?
White Rabbit Records.
Ooh.
So there's a real record store there in Corbin, Kentucky called White Rabbit Records. They have a YouTube page now, a YouTube profile. They have 2 videos up. One of them is like a clicking for 2 seconds, and the other one happens to be Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit.
Oh my goodness.
Now it says they've got 17,500 subscribers. But the video that they attached has been played 15 million times since February 26th of 2007. So I don't know if they're having fun with us or they're linking a video or what the deal is. But the White Rabbit continues on with Jefferson Airplane.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm very curious as to what the end game is, and with this getting as much attention as it is, like, it wouldn't surprise me if they push this back a little bit further. Because this is getting people invested, man. This is getting people talking about it. I'll be honest with you, man. I'm gonna miss it when it's done.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that. The other thing I want to bring up too is 04062. Do you know what that is the zip code for?
That is the zip code. Is that Wyndham?
Windham, Maine.
Well, you know what? Not too far from me. I have a Wyndham Hotel property. Huh? Huh? Maybe it's
Maybe
maybe
you're
the
the
white
White Rabbit.
maybe the white rabbit is me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's you.
Yeah.
I mean, Linda thinks it's Bad Bunny. I think it's the dude from one of the Rosebuds with Adam Rose. I mean, you never know.
I think we had to sing a song in nursery school about like little bunny or rabbit, and you had to like move around and pretend you're a rabbit. I never liked that.
Peter Cottontail.
No, it wasn't quite Peter Cottontail. It was like a knockoff Peter Cottontail. You were just pretending you were a rabbit, and 4-year-old me despised magic erasers and despised pretending he was a rabbit.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all coming. Let's see if we can get something else tonight on SmackDown. Let's talk about SmackDown coming up tonight as well. Excuse me. We've got a few things. Now, the Bloodline in full effect and full charge. I mean, literally, it's a bloodline against the world, right? Coming up tonight. We've got Solo Sikoa. We've got the Usos. We've got Paul Heyman. We've got Roman Reigns and the honorary Us, Sami Zayn.
Meathead, you and Linda talked about earlier this week. What's the end game here? How does this thing play out? Here's what I think happens with the Bloodline and Sami. You're seeing it now, and I think it's going to only continue that Sami, this is as over as Sami has ever been, and it's going to be very apparent week after week to where you start hearing more of the Sami chants during the Bloodline's promos. That, I think, is your end game. Eventually, the Bloodline turning on Sami because Sami is overshadowing the Bloodline.
Yeah, I can see that. A la Damian Sandow overshadowing The Miz.
Yeah.
Because remember, Damian Sandow was just there for comic relief, but he became bigger than The Miz was at that point.
No, with that is that.
Okay. Well, tonight on SmackDown, Ricochet and Madcap Moss will go head-to-head in a tag team match with Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa.
Should be fun. And I think really the story here is watching Sami and Solo work together as a team and really seeing Sami embrace being an honorary Us.
Well, because he's got the back of Solo right now, because Solo came up and he's seen how Sami is. Yeah. It seems like Solo's there for Sami, but at any drop of the hat, Solo could turn on Sami.
Yeah. No, this is a very, very well booked storyline.
In another tag team match, we'll have Hit Row taking on Los Lotharios.
Interesting. Good to see Hit Row back. And we had a QR code last week in the backstage segment. So who knows if a QR code is going to pop up around Hit Row.
Yeah. Do you think they do it again at 9:23 Eastern? Or does it show up somewhere else in the program?
I don't know. That's a very good. Well, it's going to be today's date is what, the 30th?
Today is the 30th.
The 30th.
Tomorrow, September is gone. Yeah.
9:30.
9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with.
Okay. Well, that would be still very close to the main event as well. So you never know. Los Lotharios and Hit Row, Top Dollar and Ashante the Adonis against Humberto and Garza. Even though I think they got their full names back, don't they?
I believe so.
Hector Garza, Humberto Carrillo.
Man, it just rolls right off your tongue.
It sure does. That's exactly how I want to say it. And then we get a little bit more. It looks like Shotzi going one-on-one with Bayley.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Shotzi getting a little bit more of a spotlight here. Her push kind of seemed to stall a little bit, but we've gotten a little bit more of Shotzi here in the last several months. So I'm glad to see her with a high-profile match tonight.
Let's transition over to AEW, Matthew, and they were live in Philadelphia at Temple University. Now, AEW, in a 1-hour show, puts on almost as many matches as WWE does on Raw in a 3-hour show. Let me ask you your opinion. I really want you to go in depth on this. Is it too much? Are they jamming all this down our throats, and do we have time to digest it?
I don't think it's as effective as it could be. I would like to see them scale back the matches a little bit. on Rampage and use it to build storylines, because I don't feel like much of that is happening. I still feel like you see most of the storyline development happening on Dynamite, and you will basically have a few matches for Rampage, basically made on Dynamite, but it still feels like we're trying to throw as much wrestling as we can in this small window. And I think it's a lot for people to digest. And, Meathead, you're a big music wrestling person.
Love wrestling music.
When you have a show like this and you're having to cut so many entrances, you are losing something from the presentation.
When you are doing a live show and then taping for another show, I mean, I honestly think you need to give them more fluff for the second show, because these people are tired. If we're just watching wrestling consistently, at some point they're going to go, oh my gosh, is this show over yet? Is this show over yet? Because they're wore out. I mean, think about it. You might have had some dark matches. You might have had some revolution matches as well. I mean, that could be 5 hours worth of wrestling.
Yeah, and that's the problem, man, is like you are recording that stuff ahead of time. Like, I think if you're going to pre-tape something, the way to do it is, you have your main event, in this case, Dynamite. Basically the way it's presented to me seems to be the main event, why people are there. Mm-hmm. Your secondary show, in this case, Rampage, you tape that first while people are still fresh. Now, I get you can't do that because you're using Dynamite to book Rampage.
Right, you can't do that, actually.
Yeah, they've kind of painted themselves into a little bit of a corner here.
So, do you do Rampage right away, then do the Dark and Elevation matches? You can't do that either, because, I mean, if you think about it, let's say you're recording on the East Coast, and, Dynamite goes on the air at 8 Eastern, and goes till 10, and then you've got another 2 hours. That's a midnight show right there.
And if you backload it, the Dark and Elevation, people just wouldn't stay.
Right.
I mean, you would lose so many people. And it's
the formula they have right now that you have to keep, unfortunately. Yep. Or go live.
That's part of the appeal of the company too. When you're going out there trying to get talent, man, you're not running house shows. You're
running national TV.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's kind of in the fabric of the company.
All right. Well, let's talk about Rampage tonight. No spoilers here, but the Acclaim, Private Party, Butcher and the Blade in a triple threat match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship.
Yeah, and I mean, this is big right now because of the Acclaim. I mean, the Acclaim is one of the hottest properties.
They are on fire.
They are.
Not just AEW. They're on fire in wrestling.
Yeah. No, without a doubt. And so, I mean, this has got a main event feel to it.
John Silver, Johnny Hungy, the Meat Man, taking on Roosh.
Yeah. Good to see Johnny Hungy getting a one-on-one match.
Willow Nightingale and Jamie Hayter.
I really think there is so much potential for them to tap into with Jamie Hayter. I want this to be a match where she is highlighted, and that is kind of the out of Britt Baker's faction. I mean, that is the one that you're starting to really hear the audience, kind of that organic response to. And I think I don't know when it's going to happen, but she is potentially a future star in that company.
Matthew, which division is she in? You said that Jade Cargill has her own, universe.
Yeah. You can't put her in that division. You would just feed her to Jade, man.
Feeding her to Jade.
Yeah. That's what you're doing. Anybody you put up against her, it's such an interesting concept, man, because the women's division is very, very thin. And
they pointed that out to us on Wednesday night, that it was because Saraya, when she came out and says, let's bring out the entire women's division. And again, for lack of a better term, who the F are these people?
I mean, honestly, Meathead, at this point, I think you got to unify those titles, man. It's just not.
No, that's not going to happen.
It is. You just like weld them together.
Not going to happen. No. Let's move on. Lee Moriarty and Fuego del Sol. Welcome back, Fuego del Sol.
Absolutely. Another exciting matchup here.
Remember, Lee Moriarty is part of the Firm. And then we're going to hear from FTW champion Hook. Apparently, he might have some beef with the Truth Busters.
Oh, interesting. Well, I'll tell you who has a lot of beef, and apparently he's going to cook it on your grill is his buddy Action Bronson.
Action Bronson, my God, that's my guy right there. I'll take some Action Bronson because that dude, again, tell him to bring, maybe a bag full of Kingsford, briquettes. Go ahead and make sure there's a cooler on the side. Maybe we'll have a little pig. Maybe we'll roast a pig in the morning. We'll have to see.
Do you think he's an 80-10 guy or like a 73-27?
He's probably 83, or excuse me, 93.7.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no fat on there.
Going lean on his preferred cut of ground beef.
That's right. But he makes his own patties. He doesn't buy the frozen ones.
Yeah, there you go.
He's dropping patties on there. He's dropping a little mozzarella on there, a little Gouda, a little cheddar.
He's got a way about him.
All righty. So, by the way, have you heard the story of RVD having his own breakfast cereal, cannabis cereal?
No, I don't think I have.
It blows me away to think that Rob Van Dam, who is from Battle Creek, Michigan, which is the home of Kellogg's.
Ooh, interesting.
Smells like breakfast there. Again, The Road to Wellville. Go ahead and check that movie out. Remember, we talked about it. But Rob Van Dam allegedly is going to be an official spokesman for cannabis flakes.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's the way you want to start your morning.
Wow. Okay. So on that note, it's been our week for Linda Kay, for Matthew Thomas on the Man They Call Meathead. We have some big news coming up next week. We're not going to drop it yet. We want you to tune in Monday morning. We've got big breaking Dixie Carter-like breaking news coming up this Monday morning right here on PWR Today. So for Linda, for Matthew, the Man They Call Meathead, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you Monday morning. So long, everyone.